I do realize we're going to have some people rolling in here in the next couple of minutes, so I will briefly do an introduction. My name is Robert Clark. I am with Petersen International Underwriters. Today what we've brought to you is the Bridge Plan, and a very informative webinar of what it covers, who it applies to, who you're going to see most need the coverage, and as well as some frequently asked questions. So unfortunately, because of the number of attendees, we will not have an open mic, but again, I'm going to address many questions that we are frequently asked about the Bridge Plan. And what you will notice is that I've put my email address on the bottom right hand corner of this first page slide. It will actually be there throughout the entire presentation. So I encourage you to take a quick second, open up a new email browser, or simply be ready to jot down any of those questions. And then please, I encourage you to fire them off to me as soon as we are done here. So I'm happy to give the one-on-one attention. Make sure all of your questions are answered. So I think we've got a 02 on the clock, so let's get started without further ado. Firstly, U.S. immigration. How about a statistic? Let's look at the U.S. foreign-born population of individuals over the age of 65. So again, these are individuals now living in the U.S. who were not born in the U.S. and over the age of 65. These numbers are represented in millions, and what you'll see, really the most important piece of the information is in the last 20 years. You can see that strong incline of population of individuals coming to the U.S., and we are experiencing this more and more on a daily basis, and probably even more so in the future. So why do we think this is happening? Well, almost for more than obvious reasons. The enhanced healthcare system we have here in the U.S., people want to reunite with their family, whether it's their kids or their now new grandkids, as well as working. So maybe some senior individuals are looking to come to America to work for a couple more years, maybe put some money in their pocket for retirement. A number of reasons beyond that, but this is what we find is most common. How does this process entirely work? Well, a U.S. citizen can file an immigrant visa for their parent, also for a number of other individuals related to them, but for the purpose of this discussion, they can file these visas for their parents, and as soon as their parents come into the U.S., they are established permanent residents. Now, once they make it to the U.S., or at some point during that visa enrollment, they receive a guide for new immigrants. This is Welcome to the United States. What we are interestingly found is that on page 46, paragraph 1 of this booklet, it states permanent residents can get Medicare Part A, Part B, and prescription drug coverage if they meet certain conditions. Now, surprisingly, nowhere in this 100 to 200 page booklet does it list these certain conditions. So you can only imagine the sense of false hope this statement provides, and you know that this is being reviewed by everyone coming into the U.S. This is a major concern of theirs and a major reason they may be coming to the United States. So it's a bit unfortunate that now they get here and they are soon to find out that Medicare is not available to them. What are some of those restrictions? Well, a permanent resident must reside in the U.S. for at least a 5-year period. They must enroll for Medicare then, after that time, during a specified enrollment date, and they must be at least age 65. Let's look at exactly how this process might work. So Jennifer's parents have decided to move to the U.S. indefinitely, join her and her new kids, which would be their grandkids. And so they speak with Jennifer. They said, we're coming over. We're going to need health coverage. Jennifer says, no problem. We have a great social health care plan for senior citizens. I'll get in touch with them and get everything straightened out. Jennifer calls Medicare. She goes through some of this process, and they say, well, you're going to have to call back at the beginning of next year. We only have a limited enrollment period that you'll have to enroll your parents during that time. So Jennifer goes back to the parents, says, we can't do it right now. They need to wait until beginning of next year. Parents say, no problem. That's when the trip was planned anyways. We'll go ahead and come out during that time once we know the health care can be in place. So January comes along. Jennifer calls Medicare. Hey, it's enrollment period. I'd like to get my parents signed up. Well, Medicare says, have your parents been here for at least 5 years? Well, no, of course not, Jennifer says. They're just showing up. Well, this is a huge problem. Now, Jennifer's finding out that her parents aren't eligible for Medicare for another 5 years. She relays the bad information to Jennifer, or to her parents, and surprisingly, I don't know how they're still smiling on this slide, but for the sake of the story, they say, well, this is just terrible. We've already have everything set. We've sold everything off. Our plane tickets are in place. We're coming no matter what. You're in the U.S. Find us something we can do. That leads Jennifer to this long trail of calling you. Now, if you have not received this call before, I can almost assure you, you will at one point. So it is very important that you are here today because we are going to solve this problem for you. Okay, again, briefly, Medicare. Here's a little bit of background for those of you who may not know. The Medicare requires the individual to, again, reside in the U.S. for a 5 years period. They must be at least age 65. They must enroll during a specified enrollment date, generally January 1st to March 1st. And Medicare will have an associated premium based on their quarter requirements. Now, these are quarters that they've worked and contributed to Social Security. So many of these immigrants just now coming to the U.S. aren't going to have any quarters of work. Even if they're working for a 3-year period, they're needing at least 30 for any sort of premium change. Medicare is designed to, on the basic end, cover Part A and Part B. This would be hospitalization or physician and surgeon care. You'll notice the green chart on the top right-hand corner. This is a estimated Medicare cost. So this basically outlines, based off their quarter contributions, what Medicare is going to cost them. You'll see an asterisk on every number because please do not hold us liable for these costs. It involves income, any late fees, maybe they adjusted their price. Whatever the case may be, if someone is dead set that they qualify for Medicare, there's the phone number right there. So 1-800-MEDICARE, they will be able to help your client and help you find a solution. And you should know that if that solution is not available, what we're talking about today is going to be your next best option. So, missing Medicare. Let's say that they missed their enrollment period. They don't have the 5-year residency yet. Maybe they're not age 65, or maybe they've only been able to obtain Part A or Part B coverage. Where does this leave them? This leaves them with no medical coverage, a huge mistake while being here in the U.S. This includes coverage for hospitalization, hospice care, skilled nursing facilities, home health care services, physician treatment, or anything as extreme as surgeries. Okay, this is a big laundry list of what could be a huge bill and should be completely avoided if possible. But unfortunately, missing Medicare would cause all of these to be laying in your lap if something were to occur. let's take a look back at these Medicare restrictions. So based off these three main restrictions, we'll refer to them as, what is Petersen International doing to solve the problem? Well, first off, 5 years residency in the U.S., the bridge plan can come in and provide coverage during that initial 5-year period. Additionally, the bridge plan does not have specified enrollment dates. They can have an effective date any day of the year, which is very valuable. And again, if say they've completed their residency but they're still only age 63, they have 2 more years to go, the bridge plan is ideal for that scenario. Can bridge that gap from 63 to 65. Just make sure your client is enrolling at that proper specified enrollment period. So when Petersen was trying to figure out this solution to solve this problem, we knew that it had to be something to cater to foreign nationals and permanent residents, right? Those coming to the U.S., most of them for the first time. They must be a Medicare age, so a senior citizen. Again, that's where we got the 60 and up. And it must replicate Medicare in the way that it would offer Part A and Part B coverages. Additionally, minimal requirements are very important, as well as a simplified underwriting process, something that gets your client from A to B in a no questions asked manner, and an easy enrollment. Just as easy as Granny's balancing act. So we are all about the simplicity of enrollment and the requirements of your client, and know there's many other things on the table. So what we've aimed to do is make this a very seamless process. Now, details of the bridge plan. This bridge plan applies, again, to foreign nationals and permanent residents, ages 60 to 95. What the bridge plan provides is coverage for Part A and Part B, which would be hospitalization, hospice care, skilled nursing facilities, home health care, and as well as physician and surgeon care. And lastly, another beautiful thing about the bridge plan, it can cover the Part A and B, or maybe a client has received their Part A and only needs Part B, or vice versa. The bridge plan can offer Part A only at a discounted rate, or Part B only at a discounted rate as well. The benefits for the bridge plan look as follows. We have offer up to $250,000. This is depending on an age schedule, which is listed here. They are policy period deductibles, right? So anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 per policy period. There is co-insurance on the bridge plan. That would be an 80% up to the first $10,000, requiring the insured that to pay that additional 20%. However, after that first $10,000, the bridge plan is providing 100% coverage. And lastly, a policy period of 11 months, and it is renewable at that time for as long as your client needs. So even if it's a 7 or 10-year case, your client can renew the bridge plan for as long as they're needing the coverage. The qualifications for the bridge plan, they must be a non-U.S. citizen, and again, age 60 to 95, and not eligible for Medicare. Now, one thing that may not have red flagged in your system is you're thinking, wait a second, not eligible for Medicare. So I have a client with Part A. Technically, they're eligible for Medicare, but we're just needing to get them Part B. Well, since they cannot enroll yet for Part B, that deems them not eligible for that benefit. So they are qualified for the bridge plan. Again, it's basically if you are not able to obtain Medicare at this very moment, the bridge plan can then offer coverage. A very important slide here, state eligibility. So where can the bridge plan be offered? You will see at the bottom here, there are 14 states that we cannot write the bridge plan in. an important note to this is that the bridge plan is valid in all 50 United States. So the coverage is effective across the map. However, in order to write the coverage, we need an address in one of the green states. So a very important piece. This is something I'm happy to distribute, as I know it's a great guideline whenever you're discussing this coverage. So I'd be happy to get this full list of available and excluded states list to you. Just give me an email on that. Next, what are some of the requirements for the bridge plan? Well, it's almost too easy. The bridge plan requires a one-page application, which is the exact application you're looking at on the right-hand side of your screen. And then secondly, just the premium. Let's talk a little bit about how those come into play and come into order during the enrollment, though. Underwriting would be off of that one-page application you saw. It has a brief list of medical questions, so we will review those medical questions, undergo a very simplified underwriting process. This would include maybe following up on certain things that could have been an issue or may not be an issue anymore. And at some point we might ask for a further clarification, but I can guarantee you that the most favorable underwriting you can offer your client is a completed application. So this helps our underwriters and our process tenfold, and will make your day much easier as long as we can have every question completed appropriately. As far as the enrollment process, so again, this is where the application and the premium come in. We're going to require that one-page completed app. Once that's reviewed, we will send this offer for coverage. This will basically state the specific details of the coverage for your client. And at that point, if they wanted to proceed, they would sign the offer and then submit premium with that offer. So let's get to the frequently asked questions. How is this different from the previous bridge plan? Well, first off, for those of you who are not aware, the bridge plan was offered a number of years ago. Well, actually last year, but originally starting before the year 2000. It was removed for the Affordable Care Act, but now we have been able to bring it back, and the way we have done so is now it is only applying to green card and visa holders. So those here on a permanent resident basis, again, non-U.S. citizens are eligible for the bridge plan. Second great question, what exactly does the bridge plan cover? Well, those Part A and Part B benefits, but within that, the bridge plan would cover anything medically necessary. Now, this poor gentleman here is the only one at the party who realizes he is stuck and thereby would be an exact medically necessary situation. The main thing here is you say, well, what wouldn't be medically necessary? A lot of that is preventative care. So an annual checkup would be considered preventative. Medically necessary is anything from a cough or a cold to, a bone fracture or major illness. Something like that would be covered by the bridge plan. Next great question, do I need to pay the premium when I apply for the coverage? Answer there is no. The premium is not due until the underwriters have reviewed and approved your client's application. So again, this is, we usually request the premium at the time of sending the offer, and that is the best time to do so. How will my premiums be determined? And what about renewals? The bridge plan utilizes a full rate chart. This chart is available in the bridge plan brochure. It lists every eligible age for the bridge plan as well as every deductible. So it seriously gives you every option that is available to your client. What it also allows you to do is foresee, maybe estimate the next couple years of coverage, or maybe your client is needing this plan for 5 years, you'll be able to identify their exact premiums. Maybe they want to follow a certain deductible schedule to make it cheaper over the years. But again, it's going to allow you to plan for those future renewals. Is there a list of doctors that I'm restricted to? And that answer is no. The bridge plan allows your client to utilize any doctor or hospital in the United States. A very valuable option. Many of the U.S. citizens that bring their parents, they have their family doctors. So, we encourage them, their parents, to use those same doctors, someone that their family is familiar with, and those would be covered under the bridge plan. Now, this is a little bit of a deeper question, okay? It's might not be the most favorable, but we want to be completely transparent and be able for you to give your client the answer that they need rather than just the answer that they're looking for. So if I have a chronic pre-existing condition, such as, let's say, diabetes, would the policy provide coverage? And unfortunately, the bridge plan would not provide coverage under that circumstance, and let me tell you why. The bridge plan has a 12-month pre-existing look back, which essentially protects us from those coming to the U.S. specifically for a pre-existing condition. But essentially, something like diabetes that's requiring constant treatment and constant attention, that treatment is going to be a form of treatment and therefore recognized on the pre-existing condition clause. So unfortunately, something like diabetes that, again, was occurring prior to us signing up for the bridge plan would not be covered. Second question, that is an often asked question, and I feel a very important question to answer for you, is that if I have a claim under the first policy, will the condition then be considered a pre-existing condition on the renewal? And again, unfortunately, yes. That condition would be considered pre-existing on any new term of insurance past that point. And we understand that this is not the most favorable scenario, but again, this is the only way that we are able to protect ourselves from those coming over for major treatments and major operations solely. And this is designed to be a gap coverage and provide the best benefits available to your client before Medicare. Lastly, will my prescription medications be covered under this plan? Prescriptions, while not covered on an outpatient basis, are covered under the hospitalization Part A basis. So if your client is hospitalized and they're prescribed medications during that time, those prescriptions will be covered under the plan. But as far as an outpatient prescription coverage, that would be identified under Medicare Part D, which is a supplement Medicare program, and unfortunately not offered by the bridge plan. So as we wrap up here, let me share with you that if the bridge plan is something you're looking to offer or have available in your back pocket when the situation strikes, the best thing you can do is have a copy of the bridge plan brochure ready to send or refer to. The bridge plan brochure offers the benefits of the plan as well as many of those frequently asked questions we reviewed and the Medicare restrictions, so it's an excellent resource from that standpoint. It again shows the rates and also includes the application all in one form. So a very, very valuable tool to have with you when the need arises. And exactly how do you obtain the brochure? Well, you can email me directly, robert@piu.org, or visit the website, www.piu.org. And under our Life and Health section, you'll find the bridge plan. Or lastly, you can call 800-345-8816, and we are happy to get that on the way, as well as any questions you might have. So So that wraps us up for today. I very much appreciate you being here and attending this webinar with us. I hope it was very valuable, and there's a number of things you were able to take away. And if you still have some outlying questions, I would love to hear them. So make sure you send me an email. Again, that's robert@piu.org. I would love to give that one-on-one attention to you and your questions, and make sure we can get every answer you're seeking. So thank you again, and with that, we will be signing off here shortly. Everyone have a great day. Thank you.